We have today with us Bob Ducoto, Fenway Ambassador. It will be a PowerPoint presentation. And Bob was here several months ago and spoke on North Korea. What? Fenway Park. Bob has a long-time association with the Red Sox and helps promote the club in his travels. Fenway Park was an aging, out-of-date, too small ballpark when current Red Sox management took over the club. Having grown up as a boy in Springfield and having had several bus trips to Fenway Park in those days, I can attest to that. Instead of tearing down and building a modern monstrosity, like most other ball clubs have done, they began a well thought out, lengthy renovation, preserving much of the old while introducing new improvements. Seats on top of the famous left field wall is a prime example. Visiting the park and attending a game today is a thoroughly enjoyable experience. While we can't take you there physically, Bob's PowerPoint tour is the next best thing. You will realize how lucky we are to have the Red Sox of today, even though they are not playing championship ball right now. For me, I am still relishing last year's incredible season, winning 108 regular season games and tearing through the playoffs, winning 3 series against teams, each with over 100 wins. I think that's unprecedented, Bob. I don't think that's ever happened before. Losing only 1 game in each series. Even my 1946 Red Sox, which had a better regular season record with 104 wins and 50 losses, failed in the World Series, losing to the Cardinals in 7 games on that infamous play of Pesky, bedazzled by Enos Slaughter's breaking to home plate, held onto the ball instead of throwing it immediately to the catcher. That shows you how well I remember these things. I was 9 years old at the time, and my heart, Bob has spoken here before. Now it's on Fenway Park, not North Korea. He's truly a Renaissance man, and I give you Bob.
1912, we're going to find out, all right, that I'm probably more of a Fenway Park fan than I am of a Red Sox fan. And there's a big difference there, all right, because of the history of Fenway Park and what have you. So personally, myself, I just want to let you know that I've been working for the Red Sox for almost 20 years now. I was a school teacher in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, where I live, in a middle school, and its timing is everything. I got the job in 2004, and you know what happened in 2004, all right, with the Boston Red Sox. So what we're going to do is sit back, relax. We're going to take a trip, okay, down memory lane and show you a little bit of the history of where the ballpark, how it was designed, and also of the modern renovations that are taking place today, and why we're so happy to have Fenway Park with us. All right, it is an icon. It is a cathedral, as some people have pointed out. So, all right, let's take a look. This happens to be right in an area known as Gate D. But Fenway Park is the oldest ballpark in the Major Leagues. Absolutely the oldest, all right, of the Major Leagues. 1912 was built. Second oldest, we all know that one, certainly, right? Cubbies, right? Chicago Cubs. But here's the most difficult one, my dear friend, all right? The third oldest ballpark in the Major Leagues, of the 30 Major League ballparks. Which ballpark is it? It's relatively new, because they have been so many. It's located on the West Coast. It is, yes, Chavez Ravine, all right, where the Los Angeles Dodgers play today. It was built in the 1960s. That's the 3rd oldest ballpark. All of the other 27, all right, are all brand new ballparks. All right, here we go. So, we're looking, all right, in 1901. Going back to 1901, my dear friends. And you can see, all right, that the Boston Red Sox were founded in the League of 1901. That's when they started in the American League. They weren't called the Red Sox. They were called the Boston Americans. All right. The word Red Sox doesn't come into play all right, until 1912, a little bit earlier than that, but it was the Boston Americans, and we also had a team in Boston known as the Boston Nationals, all right? We all know that team being, all right, the Boston Braves, as well as other names like the Boston Bees, the Boston Indians, and so forth and so on. So keep that in mind when we're talking about it. Where did they play their first games? The Boston Americans? They played them in a place called the Huntington Ave Fairgrounds. And here you see the ballpark right here, all right? And just giving you an idea of what it looked like. It was built in a hurry, so to speak. And you can recognize in the background right here, Symphony Hall. See what Symphony Hall? That's Symphony Hall on the corner of Mass Ave and Huntington Avenue. So we are looking in what direction? The northerly direction. So that's where they played most of their games, if not all of their games, from 1901 to 1912. Not far from this ballpark here, all right? The Boston Bees were playing, the Nationals, and they were playing in a very nice ballpark. All the ballparks in the early days were made out of wood, all right? Hence, they're gonna take some damage with fires and what have you. What did this one hold? This one held somewhere approximately about 23 or 24,000 people. Maybe a little bit less than that. All right? Here, all right, is the same ballpark, which is the Huntington Ave Fairgrounds. The first World Series that was ever played in the major leagues was played, okay, between the Boston Americans and the Pittsburgh Pirates, 1903. We see that there. You see all those people? This is looking south. This is a camera or a photograph taken from the roof of the Symphony Hall, looking south, my dear friends. Look at all of the players. You're going to see they're all on the, I should say all of the fans, they're all on the field. I can guess, all right, probably this is a pre-game, all right, ceremony that was taking place because they allowed the fans, all right, to get onto the field, all right, but not into the infield. But all of these fans that you see over here on the outside are very close to an incline, a little hill here, and they're going to stay on the field while the game is going on. Now, at the Huntington Ave Fairground, all right, you see an entrance right here that's going into the ballpark. Only one entrance entered into that ballpark. I'm going to come and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, okay, where it causes a little bit of a problem when the new Fenway Park is built, all right, and they have Gate A and Gate B, all right, at that time in 1912. So here, let's take another little look. All right, in 1908, all right, at the Huntington Fairgrounds, we have Cy Young. All right, you can see a picture of Cy Young here on the grounds, 1908. He was a manager, by the way, of the Boston Red Sox for a couple games, 6 games, just in 1911. Cy Young is the best pitcher, all right, won the most games of any pitcher, 511 wins. Can anybody tell me in this room, okay, who was the pitcher that was, I don't want to say the worst pitcher, but the pitcher that lost the most games?
Cy Young.
Cy Young, thank you very much. Not only did he win the most games, he also lost the most games as well. Why? Because he pitched almost every day, all right? And if you pitch every day and you pitch an awful lot, that's what's going to happen. The uniform that you see there, it was only worn for 1 year. And this was worn, we'll take a look at it. Here it is on display, all right? It has a military collar. And I just want to point out, all right, that it had a red trimming on it. And it was worn basically by the Boston Bees. And in 1907, the Boston Bees didn't want to wear this uniform that had red stockings because they were afraid, all right, that if they got spiked, the stockings which were dyed red would infect their ankles and the cuts and anything like that. So they gave it up. So when they gave up that uniform with red trimming, all right, the Boston Americans, all right, said, can we use it? And yes, they did use it. So hence, that's the beginning of looking at the Boston Americans as the Boston Red Stockings, all right, coming up here. So, 1 year, that's all it was, 1 year. All right, 1911, my friends, all right, this is again, all right, they're thinking about a new stadium. Why? Because the lease is up on the Huntington Ave stadium over here. And so let's see, okay, what they're thinking about. Here they are, all right? They're thinking about moving to another place in Boston. And somebody said, all right, why don't we go to the Kenmore Square area? They said, why? Because Kenmore Square area was just beginning to be developed in 1912. They started having, okay, trains coming in and things of this sort. And more importantly enough, there was a gentleman who owned the Boston Red Sox named Charles Taylor. This is his son, all right, John Taylor. He eventually gives the Red Sox to his son, John. And Charles Taylor also owned a realty company called the Fenway Realty Company. Now, the word Fenway, my dear friend, keep in mind, Fenway is a corrupt word, all right? Fen, as in F-E-N, swampy, way, land. Also the name of a country, Finland, okay? So Fenway is a swampy area, all right, in the Boston section of Boston. So they're thinking about doing it. Mr. John Taylor says, I don't want to own the Red Sox anymore. I don't want to be an owner of the Red Sox. I want to just build a ballpark and I want to rent it out. I want to make money renting it out. And that's exactly what he did. Now, look at this picture. This picture, okay, is Lansdowne Street. Everybody knows where Lansdowne Street is at Fenway Park. It's right behind the Green Monster. But this goes way back, way, way back. Now, I gave a date to this. I look at the photograph. I figured to myself, what date was this taken? And I guess 18, maybe 95. You're probably saying to yourself, how do you know that, Bob? I mean, how would you even figure that out looking at this dirt road? Because of this building right here. That's the Christian Science Monitor. Christian Science Monitor, okay, was put up, all right, in 1894. So it had to be sometime after 1894. All right, so that's the dirt road of Lansdowne Street. Now, for you people who are engineers, here's an old picture, okay, of what the layout, all right, of the area would look like, and they're going to have to fit this ballpark, new ballpark, into this area, Lansdowne Street, right over here. They got grandstands and what have you. They're going to have to fit this in. It's going to look nothing like the ballpark that you think about, all right, today. They open up the ballpark, all right, and when they open up the ballpark, they get very little press, all right, releases, all right, and I should say publicity, because you know what happened in 1912. It took over the news. And what was that? The sinking of the Titanic, right. And it took over front page headlines, okay, only 2 days earlier, and Fenway Park was pushed off, okay, to the, all right, the back pages, so to speak. Now, this was the era of new ballparks, all right, in the major leagues. They went from wood to concrete and steel. All of the ballparks, okay, in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and Chicago, they were all built, okay, with steel, all right, and concrete. So they did the same thing with Fenway Park. They were going to open up on April 20th, all right, for their first game, and they tried to, and they did, all right, but one other field opened up exactly the same day. And let's see if you can pick this up. Nevins Field opened up. Nevins Field. Later be called Briggs Stadium.
Detroit.
Say it again?
Detroit.
Detroit. Thank you so much. Detroit, okay. And then later to be called Tiger Stadium. Opened up exactly the same day that Fenway Park opened. I'll tell you more about the new innovations. And this innovation that you're going to see right here is the first time you will ever see, all right, in the major leagues, a sloping backstop. You remember we used to do it when we were kids, when the ball went up there? Ooh, and then, here. This supposedly is supposed to be the first pitch, all right, that took place at the new stadium, all right, in 1912. All right, first pitch, valued at $85,000. There's some people that question that, whether this is the real ball, but I'm telling you, if it is a real ball, they have to take that ball out of action, all right, after the first pitch, because this is the era of the dead ball era. Simply mean they played with baseball, one baseball as long as they could, until it looked mushy, and then they threw it out in the 6th inning. You with me on this? All right? So nobody could hit the ball over the left field wall in 1912. It's just you had to have a live ball era, a live ball, which was sometime around 1919, 1920, all right, 1921. So this was supposedly, all right, the first ball that was pitched on that time. Now look, 1912 pitcher, all right. Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Is this around today? Yes, that's the only thing that is there of 1912. The front facade. It's still there today. The bricks are still there. Any construction that's taken place is literally taking place by bricks. Even if you had to put windows, we put all new windows in this area. You take the bricks out, they're labeled, they're put aside, all right, and somebody guards them and watches them, and they go back in the same place that they could possibly go back. Now, here's what Fenway Park looked like in 1911, 1913, 1914, and so forth. And you can see, just take a look, it's kind of, the footprint's kind of like the same of today, a little bit today. Notice this little runway. Does anybody know why they have this little runway? They have 2 stadiums today. In Detroit, Detroit's new stadium, they have that little runway that goes to the pitcher's mound, all right, to the catches. And I do believe Arizona is the other one. Why do they have that? Why do they put that in there? Is it to make sure that the catcher and the pitcher are not on the grass and they have to walk on it? No, it's all about history. It's all about Great Britain. It's all about a game that was played in Great Britain that we copied. Cricket. Cricket, yes. That resembles the cricket pitch, okay? The cricket pitch, where the wicket would be up here and the wicket would be down there. I always say, when you say, "You sure?" Say, "Yeah." You can add that to your cesspool of knowledge. You never know if you're at a cocktail party, you know, somebody's going to bring it up. So here we are. Look at the center field. Look at the flagpole, 580 feet. Look at the wall. People complain about things being on the wall advertised today. Oh, look at all the advertisement. They've been doing it ever since 1912. It's part of the ballpark. All right, after telling you that nobody can hit the ball over the wall, what happens? 2 weeks. 2 weeks after they open up, all right, in April 20th, 1912, a local Holy Cross attendee from Grafton, Massachusetts, hits the first ball over the left field wall. His name is Hugh Bradley. Just another little tidbit of a cup. First home run ever to be hit over there. They never expected anybody, and after that, everybody starts hitting it over. This is the 1912 World Series. Now you're going to get a different perspective. The Red Sox are playing that honorary John McGraw Giants, New York Giants, right? Oh, by the way, just so you'll know, all right, just so you know, the Red Sox, I think, right, John McGraw was coaching the Giants in 1904. The Red Sox won the pennant in the American League. The Giants won the pennant in the National League in 1904. But John McGraw, they were ready to play a World Series, but John McGraw said, "We don't want to play that inferior American League team, all right? We don't want this league to bump out us." And the World Series was not played in 1904. That's one of the 2 times it wasn't played. And the other time it was played, the World Series, or wasn't played, was the strike year in the 90s, I believe it is. One of the 90s. All right. So here, look at the stadium. All right. Looks pretty cool. Top, 1912, look at this. This is going to catch fire pretty soon, all right, in this area, but it looks pretty similar right here. Today, Fenway Park holds about 38,000, maybe about 39,000, and I would say the first stadium here in Fenway Park area probably was around 24, 25, maybe 26,000. If they really wanted to have a big, they were going to get a big crowd, I'll tell you more about this, they're going to borrow Braves Field, just down the road, okay, on Beacon Street. Whoops. Back here. All right, here we go. Now, notice this area right here. This area right here are seats. That's for the World Series. All right? That's an incline. It's a 10-foot incline. Those seats were not there during the regular season. Why is it an incline? Because people came on the field to watch the game, and they wanted to make sure nobody was in front of them while they're watching the game, so they made it in an incline. And they put seats on here only for the World Series, so that people can sit down. Everybody could sit down. Now, this is a postcard, and as you can see, some of the terms like, I want box seats, okay? Those are the best seats, all right, for the game. Where did that term come from? Here it came from. They had it cordoned off like a box, see? And those areas that all down front were called box seats as a result of that. And then again, as I mentioned to you, the sloping screen, and the sloping screen, all right, was also something relatively new in the ballparks at that time as well. Fenway Park is used for everything. Everything you can possibly think of. This is a good picture, look at my friends, of the incline. See this incline right here? And it has a nickname. Does anybody know what that nickname is? It was named after the left fielder who's playing left field because he can run up and catch the ball and run back on it, all right, and throw it in. And it was called Duffy's Cliff. Duffy's Cliff. Named after the left fielder at the time, okay, Duffy Lewis. Duffy Lewis. Here they're having some kind of a paramilitary parade of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and what have you. But look at that. Look at the all of the advertising up there. All right. Red Sox did pretty good that century. Very good, okay, in 20th century, beginning of it. You can see they won 03, all right. Then they won 012, all right. And we go all the way down 12, all right, and 16, and then 18, and what have you. And then enter 1914. The gentleman, all right, who comes up from Baltimore, spent most of his time in the Baltimore, right, Industrial Training Center. That's really a better, fancy name for a reform school.
St. Mary's.
Yes, right. And he comes to the Boston Red Sox in 1914. And by the way, he actually came in 1913, all right, and he didn't do well. And they sent him down to Providence, Rhode Island. It was a team down in Providence, Rhode Island, that the Red Sox, I think it was the Brown Stockings or something like that. I'm not too sure on that. So, but he did come up, all right, and he pitched for the Red Sox, as you can see. See what they have on the front of their uniforms? And nothing in a lot of ways. Very little, very little. Now, here's another picture, all right, of Fenway Park during those early years. Now, you can see, all right, it's the 1914 World Series. Whoa! Red Sox didn't play the World Series in 1914. Who did? The Braves, the Boston Braves. The Boston Braves, and here they are, okay, waiting up over here on the side to get into the ballpark, and that would be Gate E, so to speak. All of this construction that you see here is known as the Gino building that was being constructed in 1914, a building, and it also, remember, they had like a bowling alley downstairs, all right, if you remember going to the game. How many people remember the bowling alley down there? No? No? Okay, there's a bowling alley and a few, a bar room upstairs. So but you get a good view of what the bleachers looked like in the early days. They're not like the Tommyaki bleachers, as you'll see in a second. They're not like the bleachers, okay, of today. And you can see the Christian Science monitor over here. And you can see the development of Lansdowne Street. Enter a gentleman named Harry Frazee. Harry Frazee, all right, owned the Boston Red Sox for a couple years at the end of the teens. What did he say? He says, what do you like about Boston? All right, and he answered the following. He said, the train going to New York. The train going to New York. That's what he liked the most. And of course, you know why. Because he was involved in theatrical plays on Broadway. All right, he had some problems, everybody knows, all right, with the play. And I'm not even going to mention, but no, Nanette and that. But he had a lot of plays involved. And he simply, okay, he needed some money in a hurry. And so he decided to sell Babe Ruth for $125,000 to the Rupert family, all right, in New York. And that was the end of the story for Babe Ruth with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, there was a lot more in that deal, by the way. He also sold a lot. He also sold a lot of Red Sox players. He dumped them. All right, dumped up all of the Red Sox players. And of course, that was the beginning, going downhill for the Red Sox, and the beginning of the New York Yankees. All right, going up. And you'll know what happened in 1922. Yankee Stadium is built. Okay, and the house that Ruth built. But here's Harry Frazee. All right, did that. All right, but 1927. All right, when we were having a bad year, all right, you know that bleacher section over in the left field area that I was showing you? It was a bleacher section. They caught on fire, all right, with a cigar, and it burnt down. And the owners of the ball club, the Boston Red Sox, just didn't have enough money. So from 1927 to 1934, it looked like a dump. It's just burned charred wood sticking up straight, and they just left it like that. And in some cases, all right, when a foul ball was hit, all right, the left fielder had to go through all of that junk and catch the ball and then throw it back in. So Fenway in the 1920s was in terrible, terrible condition. Here we see, all right, Duffy's Cliff in the back, all right. I do remember. Does anybody remember Elgin, the Elgin clock there? I remember that, all right. But I don't know how I could because I was born in 1938, all right. And I don't know when it was there, but this was in 1932, and they had all these advertisements, and they were lousy. It says the Red Sox use Lifebuoy soap, but they still stink. You know, there was all these jokes, okay, that went around. Oh, and something else if you can pick up, if you're a photo interpreter or you like to look at old photos, you can pick up a lot of things. Look at the logo right here, the drop socks. The drop socks. You think it's a new logo. No, it goes all the way back. Okay, these are called the drop socks logo. And it goes all the way back to 1932. One on the Red Sox arm at that particular time. Now, we need some help here at Fenway Park. Desperate help. Enter, all right, a man named Tom Austin, first name, help me out. Tom, okay, good. Thomas Austin comes in. Thomas Austin. His name is Thomas Austin. It's not Thomas Austin Yockey. It's Thomas Austin, all right? All right? He loses his mother and father at a very early age. His uncle in Detroit, okay, who owns the Detroit, okay, Tigers, adopts him. And his uncle's last name is Yockey. So he takes on the name Thomas Austin Yockey, all right? And Mr. Thomas Austin, Mr. Yockey, the owner of the Detroit, all right, he's a big businessman, all right? He works in wood and lumber, and he owns a ball club, so he makes an awful lot of money. This happens to be, all right, Mrs. Yockey, the first wife of Tom Yockey. Very nice woman. They adopt a girl. Nobody even knows they had children. They adopted a baby girl, and you never, ever see that young girl around, and she never came to Fenway Park or anything like that. All right? She's not Jean Yockey, all right, which is his other second wife or third wife. So here they are. He earns his money the old-fashioned way. He inherits it, all right? He inherits $40 million. But he can't get that money, all right, from his uncle's estate, all right, until he's 30 years of age. And so his 30th birthday, he immediately, okay, talks to a few people and he buys the Boston Red Sox for something like, I don't know, ridiculous price, like $200,000 or $150,000, so to speak. He wants to renovate the whole stadium. He wants to put a whole different footprint on the stadium. It's in a mess. It is a total mess. All right? So he goes out and gets a blueprint, and there he goes and he starts laying it out. So the Fenway Park that you see today, all right, is pretty much what you see, the footprint right here. The grandstand area. Let me just show you this, all right? The grandstand area in the back. He's going to put, okay, another grandstand that's going to extend all the way out to the left field pole, all right, over here. He's going to put in a section of seats, an annex section of, they're going to be called pavilion seats. Pavilion seats are going to have a roof, but they're going to be benches, like bleachers. No seats. You with me? That's a pavilion. That's a pavilion. He's going to have an opening over here that's still there to some extent. And the one over here, that's still there. Why an opening? Two reasons. They want to bring the circus in. They want the elephants to come in. That's the only way the elephants can get into the field. And more important than that, all right, they had some fire trucks, all right, that needed to get in there in case of a fire, with the hook and ladders, the big ladders and so forth. So those were the reasons for the openings here and here in this area. All right, let's take a look now. Here we are. He gets a late start in 1933 on the construction. As I mentioned to somebody, he hires 5,000 depression workers in 1933, 5,000 union workers. And he wants to get this done by April 17th for opening day. Now he can't move. This is the fall, November. Why? Because there's something happening on Fenway Park. There's a National Football League team playing there. They're owned by the owner of the Boston Braves. Has the same logo. Braves, Redskins. Redskins. The original Washington Redskins, all right, are playing, all right, from 1933 to 1938 at Fenway Park. At Fenway Park. So he gets a real late start, so he has to run his construction, and what a mess he makes. Okay, take a look at the next picture. Look, he guts out everything. Everything is gut out. This is right from behind home plate here, looking out. That's where the wall was supposed to be, and they're going to put new seats, change the field design, move the home plate either to the back or forward. I can't remember what it was, okay, so they can get a little bit more. A whole bunch of changes are made with Fenway Park. But somebody mentioned to me earlier what happens, okay, about February of 1934, just before they begin to open up, there's a fire in the bleachers. And the fire in the bleachers, okay, the bleacher section is right over here on your left. And some sparks go over Lansdowne Street into some of the businesses over there and start a fire over there. Okay. So they got to put that out, and they got to. They thought it was started by that they were trying to heat up and try to do something so it would set and what have you. Because this is the first time they were working with concrete in cold weather at that time. Here's the program. Opening day, Fenway Park, April 17th, okay, home of the Boston Americans. They're still using that term, Boston Americans. And that's what it looks like, all right, when it opens up the new left field wall. Look at it, all right? You can see it still has Duffy's Cliff there. They left the cliff there, right? It has the advertisements over there as well, all right? Notice no screen on the top of the monster. No screen. That doesn't come in until 1937. I can always tell that, okay, when I look at pictures. 1937, they put a screen up on top of the wall to catch the balls there so they wouldn't break the windows on Lansdowne Street, because those were all car dealerships, okay, with big storefront windows. And plus, all right, they needed to use the balls for batting practice and things of the sort. And we also built a ladder, but you don't see the ladder here. It's supposed to be right over here somewhere. No ladder. They put that up a little bit later on. Now, Hugh Bradley hit the first home run over the old wall. Who hits the first home run over the left field wall of the new wall that was put in 1934? Doesn't look like him, but it is him.
Don't tell me it's Babe Ruth.
Yes, Babe Ruth.
Oh.
Babe Ruth, 1934. 1934, that season. There it is right here.
Looks like Babe Ruth.
Yeah, it does.
He stands by
Either
it.
Babe Ruth or maybe Lou Gehrig. Looks more like Lou Gehrig. Okay, and I've got to do more research on this, all right? But I'm not sure. And Mr. Yawkey puts in oak seats. And we still have those today. These seats, they got about 5 different colors of paint on them. I used to tell, when I used to do my tours, I used to tell the people, you can reach underneath those seats and get your great-great-great-grandfather's chewing gum. It could still be under those seats right there. Somebody said to me, "Mister, it is so uncomfortable. I have to pay $65. I can't even fit in the seat." And they say, "Okay, let me explain that to you, all right? Should we make the seats wider? If you make those seats wider by 1 inch, you will lose 2,000 seats at Fenway Park. We're not in the business of losing seats. That doesn't give us revenue, you understand? We're in the business, and so when people complain about sitting there, and they come to me as a Fenway ambassador, I says, enjoy the tradition and the history. And they say to me, the hell with the tradition. I want a seat that I can sit in. I'll rearrange them to sit in a folding chair up in the handicap section. All right. We always relocate people. Always. Well, except if we know somebody who's taking advantage of it. Okay. Like, they buy bleacher seats all day long, and they get them way up in the last row, and they say, my father can't walk all the way up to the top. Can you get me a handicap? They know that the handicap seats are right behind the bullpen, you know. And then we say, come on, you can't keep doing this, all right? All right, you got, you know. And, anyways, this is it. These are the seats. All right, now here's 1937. Look it up here. Beyond that point. All right, we got the fence up there. Now I don't know about you, but I see this guy playing first base, and he runs like a guy that I know who runs. Okay, and I think we're playing the New York Yankees. Okay, so who could it be? Right, Lou Gehrig. All right, you got it. And there's Lou. Okay, at first base, Lou Gehrig. All right. Now, the date of that other one was relatively early. We all know that Lou Gehrig, all right, took himself out of the lineup in 1939, sometime around May. Right. He was on the field when Ted Williams played his first game, all right, at Yankee Stadium. He was on the field. By the way, if you want to research this, I can't name him off right now, but if you want to research this, on that opening day, 1939, all right, at Yankee Stadium, all right, there were 8 Hall of Famers on the field at one time. 8 Hall of Famers. Dickey and all those guys, all right, and pitchers, all right, and Joe DiMaggio and Bobby Doyle. So, here we go. So there's Lou Gehrig right there. Now, 1939, Ted Williams comes into the league, and here he is. And as he comes into the league, I just want to point out to you, yes, we did have people on the field right here. Yes, we did not have a bullpen at that time. Look where they were warming up, the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Off to the side, over here. That was the bullpen. We put it in 1940. 1940, that is when we put the bullpens in, and the purpose of the bullpens was for Ted Williams to hit more home runs. So you move it in 20 feet, right? And he did hit more home runs. All right, let's move it over here. Ted Williams' first appearance is in Worcester, Massachusetts. As you all know, you should know this one. And He played, okay, opened up with an exhibition game at Holy Cross College. And here it is, all right, on April 14th, 1939 at Fitton Field. And the Red Sox had a close relationship with Holy Cross. Why? A gentleman named Jack Barry, who had his home in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. Beautiful home. Go up to Maple Ave right today. Drive right by where the Biological Foundation is. Take a look across the street. You'll see his slate roof home. Jack Barry. The shutters have cross baseball bats still on them from when he lived there. All right, what have you. And he was the coach, Jack Barry, all right, of the Holy Cross Crusaders baseball team for many years. And he also played for the Red Sox. He was part of that $1 million infield from Philadelphia that they used. All right, look at this. Football in the early days. I'm saying it's not the Redskins. Maybe Holy Cross, Boston College, huh? But there's a building in the back that will give away the date.
The new Prue building.
The Prudential. And they started its construction in the early 1960s, right? So it had to be probably at the beginning, okay, of the Boston Patriots. The Boston Patriots, all right, were playing at Fenway Park from 1963 to 1968 till they moved to Boston College, and they moved around different places, if I'm not mistaken. All right, here's your facade again. All right, still there. All right, have you? This is what we're looking at Fenway Park today with the historic Citgo sign in the back. It is a landmark, my dear friends. It cannot be torn down unless the committee, okay, historical committee says it must be torn down. Okay, it's not even Citgo's not even in business anymore. I think they were a Venezuelan company, and before then they were an oil company from Texas or Oklahoma. So there's the Foley family. The Foley family in Waltham, Massachusetts takes care of that, free of charge. Puts bulbs in it, takes care of it every single year. These are some old pictures, okay, of Yorkie Way or Jersey Street. I don't care what you call it. You can call it anything you want. This street, okay, the Red Sox rented. All right, the Red Sox say from the city. They simply say, can we take this street over? Yes, you can. So no cars can go down there. The street becomes part of the ballpark. So if somebody says to me, all right, Bob, how do I get over to the souvenir shop on the other side, okay, of the street? All right, can I go over there? Because I'm going out of the ballpark. Yes, you can. You step foot into the street, you are still in the ballpark. All right, all kinds of entertainment takes place, my dear friends, all right, on Yorkie Way.
Still.
Good friend of mine, okay, they're still around. Generations of people, you probably even knew his father, all right? When he was selling peanuts. Peanuts, peanuts, pistachios, pistachios, yes, pistachios. He could, broken English, all right, from Italy, what have you. Pistachios, he used to say. This is Nicky, all right, who is still there, taking over his father's, okay, peanut place. They do have the tradition of putting the lineup. Years ago, if you went to Fenway Park and you want to know what the lineup was, they put it on a slate board like you would see at a pub, like a menu, all right? And they would say up on chalk. On chalk, they put up first, up second, up third. They do it a little sophisticated now by giant baseball cards up on top of the Red Sox team store. Oh, by the way, just so you know, the Boston Red Sox do not own that store. All right? It's been owned by a gentleman, okay, and his family. All right? The D'Angelo family. D'Angelo, he had a twin brother, him started, and it started up in 1947. Remember that number, 1947. So if you buy a hat, there's Red Sox on it, or Boston College, and you see the 19, you see 47 on it, that's where that hat comes from. He has the market on every single hat in the United States of America. In other words, he sells them to every baseball club, every what have you. That's not the official hat of the Major League Baseball. That's New Era. New Era has that contract. This is my favorite, okay, sausage. Mom and Pops, I love, that's the tradition of Fenway. They're in the back of the Green Monster. They're Mom and Pops. Oh, by the way, sad news took place, okay, back then. And I was angry, and a lot of people were angry. When they had Yawkey Way opened up, that's where they had all of these little Mom and Pop concession stand right there in front. But then when they closed it off, and the Red Sox decided to use the company Aramark, all right, to sell food, all right, in Fenway Park, all right, they set up concessions on that street, and they told these people they could not come in that street, okay, and they had to go anywhere around the ballpark, okay, outside the ballpark. And so they are now all have, okay, their own areas outside of the ballpark. People, very few people know the secret. You're going to know it right now, my dear friends.
Same day.
The secret is, what is it, dear?
Same day sales.
Same day sales. I can't get a ticket. It's all sold out. It's a World Series. It's, I mean, they're all gone. I don't have any friends. No, we never sell out. We always have tickets, always. We have tickets for seat relocations. Okay, if people can't see, we hold back 500 to 1,000, and we hold back, okay, about 500 to 1,000 of the same day. It's at Gate E is in Edward. At Gate E, Edward, every college kid in Boston knows it. From Boston College, all right, to you name it. They're all down there waiting in line, and you can but here's the secret. Not a secret, but you can't go there and buy 5 tickets and then go back into a bar room and say, I got the tickets, guys. When soon as you buy the tickets, you are escorted into the ballpark. And that reason is for the purpose. They don't want scalpers to come in, you know, and buy a whole group of tickets and then go out and sell them on the street. So, Gate E, my friends. Gate E. Here we go. Concourse, beautiful. All right? You know what I can remember? Field of Dreams. Remember Field of Dreams? How many people saw the Field of Dreams? Did? Remember? As they're walking down this ramp, you say, did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? See what? See what? You know, did you see, okay? The man say, okay, if we build it, they will come? Yeah, I saw it, okay. No, I will never forget that scene. That's Fenway Park today. Look, all right? It's overpowering. That's what you see. It dominates the ballpark. It dominates. All right? That's what every little kid sees. When I was doing a tour of Fenway Park, I had a little kid from Lawrence, Kansas, holding hands with him. He's walking up the ramp, and he goes and he sees this for the first time. He goes, I couldn't believe it. He was like 7 years old. He said, oh my God. He said, my heart just stopped. My heart just stopped. You know? And you say to yourself, that's still the feeling you get today. Especially for people who haven't been to Fenway Park in a long time. You need to go back and get reacquainted with this. Mom, 81 years old. We don't have, I see it every day. All right, you're in my age group, a little bit older, maybe, or younger. You gotta go back and see it, all right? Any way you can. Here it is. We got seats. When they said they were going to put seats up on top of the Green Monster, I kicked and screamed. I said, don't you dare prostitute my ballpark. I said, that's not what Fenway Park looked like. Seats on top of the Green Monster, and I yelled and screamed. And they were going to fire me, I think, at the time, all right, because I was too boisterous and what have you. They said, settle down, Bob, okay? You know, wait till it's finished, you'll like it. So, Janet Marie Smith, okay, from Baltimore, Maryland, architect, comes up. She designs these beautiful, beautiful seats, okay?
It's standing room in the last.
Standing room is right up at the top here. Up at the top, right at the very top.
Yep.
Right here. But, what I'm going to try to do, okay, I know 2 people up there. I know the ushers up there, I know everybody up there, okay? So, when I see you standing up there, what I'll do is I'll go to the usher and I'll say, you have any no-shows? Meaning, oh yeah, we got the 2 people. All right, usually in the handicap section, all right, they don't sell out in the handicap section, and there's all seats up there. I'll just ask them if they're available. Sit down, somebody comes, you can get them, you know. That's the privileges I have. Hey, all right, I got these privileges, all right, working here for a long time. I'm old, all right? All right, here we go. That's what it looks like now today, pretty much so. Flag comes down, national anthem. We only do this, the flag coming down, on special occasions. You know, like 4th of July, Marathon Day. It's not every game, because you got to fold that flag. It takes a job. It takes almost an hour to refold that flag and put it back up again. Here, this is brand new this year, 2 years ago. These are portable. And you say, what do you mean portable, Bob? This wall comes down, this wall comes down, this wall comes down, this wall comes down, and we can extend the field, okay, about 20 to 30 feet, and put a soccer field in there, I'll put a football field in there with no problem. So, just wanted to point that out to you. Whoops. The concrete. Let's get back here, I'm sorry. All right, we're looking, okay, up here at the Dunkin' Donuts dugout, up at the top. Dunkin' Donuts purchases for every single home game. 81 home games, Dunkin' Donuts, their sponsor, and they're for kids. You purchase tickets, there's about 30 kids that come for free, usually from inner city Boston area, or you can apply from Worcester. You can, you know, go to Dunkin' Donuts Corporation and say, I got a group of people coming, all right, can you get us, okay, in the Dunkin' Donuts dugout? And that's where that is. And there it is. There it is. 1947, I believe it is. Yeah, right? In July. Double header. No seats up there. Benches. Bleachers. You know what bleachers are, don't you? You know how they got their name, don't you? In the early days, okay, when the players washed their clothes, and they didn't have any place to put them. This is the early time, all right? They get them and put them on these benches so they can be bleached out, okay, from the sun. These are the bleachers, okay, the bleachers. Man sitting up there named Joseph Boucher from Albany, New York. He's sitting up there. Ted Williams gets up and he cracks one 502 feet, all right? And he's trying to take a nap, all right, and he can't take a nap, and he's putting his hat over his head, and bang, right? It hits him right on the top of the head. He jumps up, all right, and he yells and screams, how far does a guy have to sit, okay, before, okay, he can enjoy a game here at Fenway Park, all right? And he becomes famous, all right? And they said, okay, he said, where are you from? Joe, I'm from Albany. What state's that in? New York. Oh, you're a New York fan anyway. So, okay, that's all right. Don't worry about it, all right? And they walked away. They didn't even take him to Beth Israel. So there's an old picture, okay, of the hole in the hat, so to speak. Now, when you buy a ticket, and you come down to see me, and you say, Bobby, Ambassador, I can't see the game. There's something in front of me. They told me to come down here and you would relocate my seats. I said, well, let me see. Okay. First of all, does it say obstructed view on your seats? If it says obstructed view, if you are, a pole is between you and the pitcher's mound, obstructed seat. You must get relocated, right? If the pole is in front of you and the home plate, that is obstructed view. You must be relocated, all right? It'll say obstructed view on the ticket. But if the pole is blocking the shortstop, who is not that important to the game, all right, it is not obstructed view. And they will say to you, well, we're sorry, okay, it's not obstructed. And then I'll say to them, they'll say, but I can't see, I really can't see the infield. I say, give me that ticket. And I'll call my good friend Richie Beaton up, and I'll say, Richie, these people from out of town, they have no idea what Fenway Park looks like, all right? Can you give them a break, all right? Get them a seat. He says, sure. For you, Bobby, I'll do that, all right? And they'll do that. So we bend over backwards for everybody. Dugouts. Dugouts at Fenway Park. Do they look nice? No, they don't look nice. Those are the worst dugouts I've ever seen in my life. You should see some of the dugouts, okay, of some of the major league ballparks. And they're filthy dirty at the end of the game with all the seeds and everything, you know. This is a painting that was put up during Tom Yockey's, okay, to commemorate, okay, the ballpark from 1912 to 1934. This is, okay, a new press box that we put up here. This area right here is the print press. We'll get to that in a second. Right here, the print press, okay. This area right here are small little booths for the radio and TV. And then this area right here is for the control room of the biggest screens out in center field. Okay. This is what the press box looks like. Seats are assigned. They are assigned to the Baseball Writers of New England, the chapter. The ones who vote in the Rookie of the Year, ones who vote in, okay, the different Hall of Famers, they get to go on the first row. Second row up here would be local newspaper reporters like Springfield and other small towns. And then out-of-town baseball teams like the Yankees, all right, they would put them all the way up as far as they could, okay, way, 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 way back, so they don't get a chance to see anything. This is where the official scorer sits. He must be able, okay, to see every part of the field. It's impossible. There's no place at Fenway Park where you can see every fair territory. No place. There's always one little small little area that's obscure. So they have to rely on somebody else if the guy missed the ball in the corner of the left field wall and stuff like that. So, we're moving along a bit. It's going to move along pretty good. I'm sorry, I'm a little over. This is the luxury suites. All right, it's called the Dell level. In the back, you can see, all right, the gold gloves there. This is the Hall of Fame. The one thing we don't have at Fenway Park that the Boston Patriots have, New England Patriots have. New England Patriots have a Hall of Fame and a place like, you know, like a museum where they can put all of their stuff in. The Red Sox don't have any of that. They don't own any of the land around Fenway Park. So they have to put it in the ballpark area. Put it in where unfortunately, they put it where the premium seats are. They don't put them in the bleachers or anything like that. Right? So those people don't get a chance. So 50 members of the Hall of Fame, Boston Hall of Fame, Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame. Going upstairs, all right, to the State Street Pavilion, you'll go up the escalator and you'll see the foul pole of Carlton Fisk. Was it 1978? Help me out here. 1978, when he did this?
75.
1975, thank you, 1975, okay, when he tried to push the ball fair, all right, and he did. And that was in Gene Remington Yockey's box for many, many years until the new owners took over in 2002, and they said, come on, get it out of her box and let's let everybody take a look at it, so to speak. Good owners. This is just one of the areas upstairs. Pub food, Green Monster seats. All right, you can see the Citgo sign. I love it when people say on television, say, oh my God, what a blast, that went over the wall, it's going to hit the Citgo. That's 750 feet, okay, the Citgo. That's on top of Boston University's, okay, dormitory, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Citgo sign. Nah, nobody hit the ball that far. All right, and that's what they look like. See how they blend? All right, with nobody in them? All right, see how they blend pretty good. Yeah. Back here. Yeah, we've got the seats, we've got about 260 of those seats. If you look real close, I don't think you can because the lights are on, but you look, you can see they're shaped in a baseball, like stitches, all right, around the seat. And those are on the open market, all right, they're not, they used to be put on those seats used to be like on a lottery, but they're not on a lottery anymore. They just tell us, they'll say, Green Monster seats are going on sale this month or something like this. This is what it looks like from Lansdowne Street. You can see that the cantilever, for you people up right over the ballpark, I mean over the street, so to speak. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention to you, all right, that the light towers, well, I'll get to it in a second. All right. This is the right field roof. This is where we have our marriage proposals that take place up there. Right. And these are premium seating. Remember I told you about a bowling alley? Okay, that was downstairs in the Gino building. We took the bowling alley out and we made a bar out of it. See it right here, up on top of that area. Some people remember it, some people don't. And of course, all right, the retired numbers, okay, we get the retired numbers. All right, I'm not going to go over every single one of them unless you don't know what number it is. But do you know which number is the only number or only player that had his number retired and is not a member of the Major League Hall of Fame in Cooperstown? Not a member.
Pesky.
Yes, thank you, dear. Johnny Pesky, number 6, right here. He was working with the Red Sox for such a long time, they just said we have to give him to be a special situation, okay? Because he was getting older and older by the minute, right? What have you? All right. Light towers. These light towers. I love these light towers. 1947. We were the third to the last to have lights. Third to the last to have lights, believe it or not. They wouldn't even let us play on a Sunday here at Fenway Park. You know, they said, it's church day, you can't play. We had to go to Boston University, back over to Brace Field. So, the second to the last to have lights was the Detroit Tigers, about 2 months after the Red Sox, because everybody knows the last team to have lights. Wrigley Field, right, the Cubbies. You can buy a table. You have to buy a table. You can't just buy one seat. You have to buy a whole table of 2 or 3. You get a food voucher with that. It's like a $25 food voucher that goes with the ticket. $25, that's a glass of beer. Big deal, right? $25. All right? I tell you, my friends, I've been to every seat in this ballpark. These are some of the best. Some of the best. All right up here. Even the standing room up here are pretty darn good. You can see the field really nice from way up here. Here's the misnomer, or not misnomer, but here's the misconception that most people have. Most people think that the Green Monster, all right, because they changed the numbers from inside, and somebody's in there with a manual scoreboard, they think the whole wall is hollow inside. It is not. All right, only a small section where the arrows are. So, see where the door is? This is how you get in, right here. All right, this was the ladder, as you well know, okay, when they had the net up to get the balls, and it is only hollow inside from this arrow right here all the way over to the beginning of the National League. So the people who change the scores for the National League have to come outside in between innings, okay, with a ladder and put the score up, take the ladder in, and go on. So, but what a treat it is to get inside, all right? It took me almost 8 years to get inside the Green Monster. That's how as an employee. And there it is, all right? Usually it's soaking wet, okay, with water when it rains. By the way, it's 10 feet below Lansdowne Street. That's the bottom of inside here. So no wonder it gets wet, okay? And there's all kinds of furry creatures that are running around inside there that you don't want to even think about, all right? So you kind of walk through over here. But you should never, ever walk in that Green Monster without a magic marker, right? Because that's the only time you're going to get the opportunity to put your name on that wall. Or do like I did. You know, I went in there with a magic marker. Couldn't find a section because it was so crowded. I just saw Alex Rodriguez's name there, and I just put a line right through it. And I put mine right underneath it. Yankee fans? Yankee fans? Okay. So you can't go in, but you can vicariously live through some of these photographs and see what the inside of the monster looks like. All right, here's another thing people do not know. On the scoreboard, which is manual, on American League, between the E and the P, you have these funny things coming down. And if you know anything about nautical, all right, history, That's Morse code, dots and dashes. You have one over here as well. Now you say, well, why? Well, it's because this one right here has the initials T-A-Y. T-A-Y. Thomas Austin Yorkie. This one over here has J-R-Y, which is Gene Remington Yorkie. And that, people say, well, are they buried there? They're just being honored, okay, on the wall. I don't know how long those are going to be there, if you get my drift. Meaning, the new owners, well, I call them new owners even though they've been here, Tom Yorkie did not have the greatest relationship with the African American community in the city of Boston, all right? And in fairness to the new owners, when they bought this ball club, they made the statement that they were going to take everything, as many things, okay, off of the ballpark that had his name on it. All right. Now, Jean Yorkie, she has a name on a lot of philanthropies, hospitals and places like that, so there's a little different story there. But anyways, so we don't know how long this is going to last, but I don't want to get into that, okay, because that's a little bit over my pay grade. A little bit. All right, here we go. Clubhouse, very quickly, we'll get through it. Clubhouse, I'm sorry to be so long here on this. Clubhouse, that's not bad. That's the Red Sox clubhouse, all right? So it was pretty good. The visitors clubhouse even has a better one than this. Watch this. That is the visitors clubhouse. Matter of fact, they don't even have exercise machines inside there, so they can loosen up. As a matter of fact, okay, they have to go across the street. When the Yankees would come in, they go across the street when Jeter was playing, and he would take the whole team on a jaunt around Fenway Park, and they would go into one of those fitness plants, the fitness places, okay, on Lansdowne Street. So it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. We don't, everybody, that's why everybody says, all of the players will say, what's the worst ballpark you ever played in? They'll say, Fenway Park. Because they don't get the amenities that all the new ballparks have. We don't do any of that stuff with them. We get the amenities. They don't get the amenities. Why dress up, why give them, why make them feel comfortable, right? I don't think so. That's not the way it works. We do have a batting cage behind the Red Sox dugout. And this is new to Fenway Park. It's called Jim Beam. All right, it's the, I never thought they would have one of these. They're lousiest seats in the whole house. All right, lousiest seats in the house for me. That's what I'm thinking. It's right on the field, your eye level. If you're sitting in these chairs right here, all right, this is on the first base side. All right, there's a pesky pole right over here. All right, and you're looking out. You're looking at the field. You literally can't see, all right, the left fielder or center fielder. If you see them, they're behind a little mound because, as you well know, okay, all ballparks, okay, are concave, okay, for drainage, all right? And so there's a concave. It's like sitting in the dugout. The dugout seats, the dugout are lousy seats too. I mean, it's best, okay, to sit on top of the dugout, all right? You want to sit up high. So don't feel bad that you're not sitting that close. And of course, back at Gate B, Ted Williams, okay, this is a memorial to Ted Williams and to this young fella. People don't realize what it is until they get real close. And when they get real close, they'll see that the little boy has no hair. No hair. So Jimmy Fund, all right? So it's all about the Jimmy Fund, all right? About the cancer. And his work with it. And of course, right beside of that are the teammates, all right? And I think you know the teammates, Ted Williams, all right? Johnny Pesky, Bobby Doerr, and Dominic DiMaggio. Somebody once said, and I'll tell you who said it, and see if you can guess who said this. It says, when they raise, tear down, when they raise Fenway, it'll be like cutting down an old tree. Count the rings. There's one for each celebration and heartache suffered by Boston Red Sox fans. That's none other than Dan Shaughnessy's quote. Dan Shaughnessy. not a great writer, but sometimes, okay, he comes up with some pretty cool things. And I thank you so much, my dear friends, for sitting through a long presentation. And I apologize for going overboard on this, but I get so excited about my presentation that I just want to keep going and going and going. And I'll answer any questions that you have right now. All right. Any questions about that? Anything in terms?
I don't have a question, but I would beg to differ from you that the new stadiums are monstrosities. They are not monstrosities. And some of them, and they're, in many cases, much better than the old monstrosities.
They have taken a poll and they said, with the exception of the Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers, they're the only ones that can get 45,000 people into their ballpark.
Right.
They will fill. But the rest of the 28 Major League ball teams, okay, can't do that. So they're down to about 35, the new ballparks, 35, 36, 37,000.
And the Oriole Park at Camden Yards has a street also closed that you showed there, Utah Street, just like the one you showed there.
Yes, Utah Street there. I'm
Now,
one of the
maybe
few.
the model there.
I'm one of the few people, and I know, and I apologize. I shouldn't apologize, but I'm one of the few people that not a big fan of Camden Yards. Okay, and you say, well, gee, why, Bob? I'm a big fan of Camden Yards because of its location down by the harbor, and that plays a very important part, really a very important part. But I like retro ballparks. When I say retro, you know what I'm talking about. I like ballparks like where in Arlington, where what is it, the Rangers play. You got one right field, looks like Detroit, with the poles coming down, all right, Briggs Field. You got Yankee Stadium with the facade out in center field, okay. I just like that. I mean, but that's just me. Any other questions? Yes?
Yeah, how close was the left field line before they made the wall?
It was always over 300 feet, but 302, 305 feet.
With the people on the field?
Huh?
When the people were sitting on the field?
How close?
Yeah, it looked like the people were sitting.
Yeah, they were sitting on the field, but the ball hits the wall. When you measure, okay, to the length, you always measure to the wall, so the wall's behind them. I mean, you just do a tape measure. It was always about 300. By the way, there's a rule in Major League Baseball that says that every new ballpark has to be over 300 feet down the line. I know for a fact that pesky pole is 399. Because I marked it off 299. I marked it off several times, all right? But they would grandfather that.
I thought it was 297. Remember.
Well, I'm giving it. They moved home plate back, all right, a few years, all right, when they were doing the field though.